By 10 that morning, every buyer at the Valentine sale barn had made the same decision. The 72 calves behind the red quarantine gate were not cattle. They were a bill waiting to come due. Then a 24-year-old woman in a canvas coat raised her bidder card. The auctioneer stopped, the crowd turned, and Mara Bell spent half her operating money on the one pen nobody else would touch. A man near the rail gave a short laugh. Girl just bought herself 72 funerals. Mara did not look at him. She folded the sale ticket, slid it behind her father's old pocket ledger, and walked toward the loading chute. What the crowd could not see was that Mara was not betting on sick calves. She was betting on a ranch everyone else has already measured wrong. 3 months earlier, her father had died beside a broken windmill on their place south of Gordon, Nebraska. He left Mara 760 acres of Sandhills grass, a worn set of corrals, 2 payments already late, and a house where her mother was still relearning how to use her left hand after a stroke. The bank saw the ranch as collateral. The neighbors saw it as a property that would be split and sold by spring. Mara saw the last thing her family still owned together. But sentiment did not pay feed bills. The ranch had only 26 cows left, hay prices were climbing, and the checking account held less than the repair estimate for the main well. Mara needed a way to rebuild a herd without paying full market price. That was why she went to the sale barn, and that was why the red tag pen caught her attention. The calves were light, rough-haired, and exhausted from too many miles in too many trailers. Several had cloudy eyes. Most had dried manure on their legs. A wet cough moved through the group every few seconds. Their average weight was barely 340 pounds. The auction veterinarian had marked them high risk and ordered them sold as one lot. No sorting, no guarantees, no returns. Clay Rourke, who ran cattle on the north side of Mara's fence, found her studying them. Clay was 58, careful with money, and proud of never needing a second chance from anybody. "You came here to buy cows," he said. "I came here to buy a future." He glanced at the red tags. "That isn't a future. That's freight and medicine." Mara kept watching the calves. One small black baldy stood apart from the others, not coughing, just staring at a water tank it was too weak to reach. Mara noticed something else. The calves closest to the open gate were breathing easier than the ones packed against the damp concrete wall. That detail stayed with her. The price dropped, then dropped again. At $103 a head, Mara raised her card. No one bid against her. By dark, she had the calves home. The trouble began before the trailer was empty. One calf went down in the chute. Another refused water. 3 were breathing so fast Mara could count the movement from 20 feet away. The first night, the temperature fell to 9 degrees. The automatic waterer froze. The south pen turned to black mud where a buried line leaked beneath the frost. Mara carried warm water in buckets until her hands stopped closing properly. She checked temperatures. She marked ears with livestock chalk. She wrote feed intake, cough frequency, manure condition, and breathing rate in her father's ledger. By sunrise, she had slept 11 minutes in a folding chair. By the 3rd day, 14 calves were running fevers. By the 6th, 1 was dead. The sale barn had been wrong about one thing. They had not sold Mara 72 funerals. They had sold her 72 decisions, and each one could fail for a different reason. That was when Dr. Lena Hart drove through the yard. Lena had spent 32 years as a cattle veterinarian and range consultant before retiring to a small acreage outside town. She had known Mara's father. She had also refused, for years, to give advice to people who wanted answers without observation. She stood at the fence and watched the sick pen for nearly 5 minutes. Then she asked, "Which calves will crash next?" Mara looked at the ones already coughing. "Those 6. "No," Lena said. "Those 6 already crashed." "Which ones are next?" Mara looked again. The calves in the lowest corner were clean on one side and caked with mud on the other. They were crowding against a windbreak that stopped the wind but trapped moisture. The calves on the higher, drier edge were spreading out and returning to the bunk. The ones in the corner, Mara said. Why? Wet bedding, crowding. They can't rest. Lena nodded once. Now you're treating the cause before it becomes a symptom. Under veterinary direction, Mara separated the worst cases, adjusted treatment, and stopped moving the whole group every time one animal needed care. She dragged gravel into the low corner. She built a second windbreak that blocked the northwest wind without sealing the pen. She added bunk space so the weak calves did not have to fight the stronger ones for feed. She changed the feeding schedule to reduce the rush at the bunk. She learned to notice the small things. A calf standing with its elbows turned out. A calf that came to water but did not drink. A calf that stopped licking its nose. A calf that let the herd leave without following. Every night, the ledger filled. Numbers first, fear second. The system worked, not perfectly. 6 died before March. Mara wrote down everyone. Ear number, temperature, treatment, weather, what she had missed. She never crossed out a loss. Her father used to say a bad number only becomes useless when someone hides it. By February, the bank had stopped sounding patient. A loan officer drove out in a clean pickup, stepped around the mud, and told Mara the operating note would not be renewed without a stronger spring balance sheet. The same week, the main tractor lost hydraulic pressure. Then an ice storm sealed the county roads. 11 calves went off feed in 48 hours. The generator failed at 2:17 in the morning. Mara stood in the dark calving shed with a flashlight between her teeth, listening to sick animals breathe. The sound was wet, uneven, too close together. For the first time, the crowd at the sale barn sounded reasonable. She could sell what remained, take the loss, lease the grass, move her mother into town, end the problem before the problem ended her. At dawn, she carried the ledger into the kitchen and set it beside the bank notice. Her mother, June, was practicing lifting a coffee cup with her left hand. Mara said, "The bank is right. This place is losing money." June studied the 2 books on the table. One held loan balances, the other held temperatures, rainfall, feed, deaths, and small recoveries. Then she said, slowly, "The bank keeps a 1-year ledger." She tapped Mara's father's book. "The ground keeps a longer one." That sentence did not solve the debt. It changed the question. Mara had been asking how many cattle the ranch could carry this spring. She had not asked why the ranch was carrying so little after decades of grass. 2 days later, she drove to the county conservation office. In a back room, an old range technician found a file box labeled Bell, South Unit. Inside were aerial photographs, soil maps, and pasture transects Mara's father had made 18 years earlier. The pages showed knee-high prairie sandreed on slopes that were now nearly bare. They showed sedge and switchgrass in swales where only weeds remained. In the margins, her father had written the same note again and again. "Rest is not wasted grass. It is next year's grass." Mara spread the maps across the hood of her truck. The ranch had not failed because it lacked acres. It had failed because the same cattle had been allowed to choose the same plants, in the same places, all season long. The best grass was bitten again before it could rebuild roots. The weak grass was left. The soil surface opened. Rain ran away. The ranch was not empty. It was exhausted that spring. Mara changed how the land was used. She divided the home pastures with polywire and step-in posts. 22 paddocks from ground that had once been treated like 4. The herd moved every 2 or 3 days. No pasture was grazed again until the plants had recovered. She shifted water access to keep cattle from camping in one corner. Forage tests guided the mineral program instead of habit. She left more leaf behind than Clay Rourke thought any sensible rancher should. "You're wasting feed," he told her across the fence. Mara looked at the green blades, still standing after the cattle moved. "No," she said. "I'm leaving the plant enough to earn it back." The rescued calves changed with the grass. Their coughs disappeared, their coats slicked off. They stopped rushing the gate every time Mara entered the pen. By early summer, the surviving 66 were averaging more than 2 pounds of gain per day on pasture and supplement. The black baldy that had stared at the water tank now led the herd through every new gate. Then the rain stopped. June gave the county less than an inch. July brought hot wind and no relief. By August, the region was in the driest stretch in 34 years. Across the Sandhills, ponds shrank. Hayfields burned pale. Ranchers began shipping calves 6 weeks early because their pastures had no second bite left. Clay's hills turned the color of old rope. Mara's did not stay green everywhere, but they stayed covered. That difference mattered. The rested plants had deeper roots. The standing residue shaded the soil. When a hard thunderstorm finally dropped 1.7 inches in 40 minutes, water sheeted off the neighboring road ditches. On Mara's side of the fence, it slowed under grass, sank into old root channels, and disappeared. 3 days later, new green showed between the cured stems. Clay drove over that evening. He did not bring advice. He brought a shovel. They cut a small square from one of Mara's rested paddocks. Roots held the soil together in a dark block. Across the fence, the same shovel lifted dry sand that fell apart before it reached his boot. Clay stared at the 2 samples. "All those moves," he said. "All that wire. This is what you were buying." Mara shook her head. "This is what the ranch was trying to keep." For the first time, Clay looked at the calves without seeing the red tags. He saw weight, quiet behavior, full bellies, a herd standing on feed in a year when feed had become the whole argument. That fall, Mara sold 38 steers at weights nobody at the auction yard would have predicted. The sale paid the operating note, the veterinary bill, and the well repair. She kept 28 heifers. Not because they were perfect, because they had already proved they could recover. 4 years later, those heifers had become the base of the bell cow herd. Across ordinary calving seasons, they produced more than 100 healthy calves. The ranch still had hard years. Tractors still broke, rain still missed. Markets still dropped without asking permission. But the land no longer entered every dry month already tired. Young ranchers began walking Mara's paddocks with notebooks. Lena Hart still asked questions before giving answers. June regained enough strength to drive the feed pickup again, and Clay Rourke began resting parts of his own place, though he never called it Mara's idea. The old red sale ticket remained folded inside the first ledger. 1 page recorded what the calves cost. Hundreds of pages recorded what they taught her. The bank kept a ledger for 1 year. The ground kept one for the future.